It's time for the keys to life, and when I say keys to life, you say. I say keys to life, you say. I say keys to life, you say. Number one, God respects work. God respects work. One of the things that people kind of get wrong and they get confused about or they get frustrated about is you, not you particularly, but many of us, we think that he respects prayer more than he respects work. And although he loves your communication with him, what happens after the communication? Because the proof of the communication is what you do before and after the communication. Because you can talk, if you talk to your friends, the one that you probably count to be your best friend, the one that knows you really well, or your brother or your sister, and you say they know you really well, and they know whether you really about to do what you say you're going to do. Like, there's just certain ones, you know, I grew up, I have two brothers and one sister, and there's certain people in my life that are very close to me, and I can tell when they're about to do something, I can tell when they're about to say something, I know when they're about to put in work, and I know when the one that you don't call for putting in any type of work. You have to understand people, and so when he sees you, he knows whether the prayer is just a prayer. The prayer is just a call out. God, I want this, and I have that, and I have this, and I want a new car. And Lord, you said if I shout it out to you and you call and hear me, and they say you, and then that's it, because you called out, you shouted out, and you prayed, and that's not much to be respected. But when you say, Lord, this is the plan, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing, this is the seed that I sowed for it, this is the continued seed that I've been sowing for it, Lord, let's go. And you go out to do what you set to do. You put it in motion, and no matter what happened, no matter what you saw, no matter what you didn't like, no matter what was going on, you still were working. Now he can respect it. He can't. How can he respect someone that says they want something that's not going for what they want? And I promise you, it's a difficulty. Me as a father, when my children say they want something, I need to see how bad they really want it. Because I can make it happen. I can find out who. I can find out where. No matter where I'm at, I'm looking to make sure that you succeed. But if I'm working harder than you working, then something's wrong. I should never be working harder than you working for your life. I should never be the one pushing you and pushing you and pushing, and you like, well, Lord, just let's see what happens. I prayed about it, and I'm waiting on it. Devil is a lie. You can't. How? You just want them to fall out the sky? Blessings just fall out the sky, just waiting for them. I reach out like raindrops. No, come on. It's not it. It's not. Therefore, the woman with the issue of blood, if she believed it and didn't do anything, what would have come of it? The idea and the thought pattern is it doesn't make a difference what these people see or what these people know. I'm going to get through the crowd and touch the hem of his garment. The man, the general that said, you don't have to come to my house, just go on ahead and say it. And as it be, then he said, he stopped him. What was the action? Stop. All I need is a word. If I call for you to do it and you say, all right, I'm coming, that's excitement. But if I say all I need is a word, that is proof. You have no proof. Without proof, what are we doing? We want something, but we're not doing anything to get it. We're not showing God that we really want it. If you have a child or anybody that someone says, hey, you know what, can you do this for me? And you be like, okay, what do you plan on doing? And they like, I'm going to do this. You know that person that be like, oh, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be this, and I'll be this, and they don't never do nothing to get it, become it? And they just talk and they just talk and they just talk. That's what you do to God. You just talk and you just talk. And God, you said this and you said that and you said this and you said that. And Tuesday, Lord, you said it. I believe it. That settles it. You can have all the rhymes, all the rhymes. I'm talking about all the Christian rhymes you can come up with that the pastor told you, all the different phrases that he said. You can shout on it. You can speak on it. You can speak in tongues on it. You can do backflips down. You can get the whistle from the back. You can do all the different things. You can play on it and tap your toe if you like to. But if you're not doing nothing outside of Sunday, what difference does it make? How? Lord, I want to be delivered from this. Do something about it. Stop taking it. Erase the person that gives you to whatever you're doing. Stop doing, show up. Because he'll meet you in the midst of your problem. He'll meet you in the midst of your circumstance. Lord, I want to be good at this. You want me to go like this, and now you good at it? How does that work when everybody else had to study? Everybody else had to work it. Everybody else had to draw 17 many times. They had to cook certain many times. They had to play so many times. You don't just get it. He blesses what you do. He respects what you do. The Bible says in Proverbs 31:31, he says, give her the fruit of her hands, of her, what she is working with. She did. And let her works, what? Praise her in the gates. Let what praise her in the gates? What does it say? Did let God's works for her praise in the gates? No. A lot of us is looking for praise and we ain't did no work. You want praise for average. You want praise for every day. You want to put on your clothes and all of a sudden you got praise. It just doesn't really work like that. Respect is given to those that are actually putting in something, proving something, doing something. Can I explain this last thing to you? God says, try me now, hear what saith the Lord. He says it in the Old Testament. He says it in the New Testament. What does that mean? He said, I will prove it. Anyone that says, try me, around the 80s, 90s, they'd be like, try me. And a parent, try me. Just try me. What does that mean? He said, I'll prove it to you. Just you wait. Just go ahead. Do it. Do what you think you, see, I can do it. Just go ahead, do what you think you was going to, I promise you. That's it. Just come out naturally. But my point to you is, if you come from the show me state, then I need you to get this idea, this mindset, that if you can prove it, God is willing to step up. God does proof. God says, I am not the one to fake. I'm always, what are we? His hands and his voice in this world. So we have to look like him. We have to act like him. We have to move like him. And so we got to be from the prove me. We got to be able to prove it. All right, I'll move on. All right. Number 2, give them something to talk about. Give them something to talk about. Who? Everyone. Absolutely, positively everyone. The people that talk about you, the people that follow you and don't say nothing, that don't like nothing that you like, they just love to look on your page and tell you they saw it. Did you like it? No. Just give them something to talk about. What do you mean by that? I said, understanding this, the life that you live is the life that you present as unto God. One of the things that I try my best to do is be the same person that I'm speaking from this stage. So when people look at me and they look at the things that I do and the things that I say, I need them to mirror each other. I need them to be the same. I need them to look right and act right. And so when people look at me, they're going to say, oh, he is who he says he is. When they look at my past and they look at from where I've come from and the things that I've done, you've come mighty long way. You've done certain things. I don't need for the world to know me, but I need those that know me to know who I am and that you can speak the right thing about me. When you look at my children, when I come to the program, when I come to hear about you, when I hear about you from other parents and everything else, I want them to say, oh, you know what? Such and such is such a wonderful child. They're such a manifold child. They such this and such that. And that's just why? Because that's your reputation. That's who you are. And it doesn't stop. You can be 95, and your reputation still ought to be clean. It still ought to be good. It's still a funny person, wonderful person, nice person, serious person, child of God, this, that, and the other. If you're going, they're going to talk about something. Just know this: they're going to talk about something. It don't matter who you are; they're going to talk about you. But you make sure you give them something good to talk about. Because they fit in it, whether you hear about it or you don't hear about it. Trust me, I grew up, and they was talking about me. They said, where you going to, like, Pete Davis, like, you know what, he ain't going to be this, he ain't going to be that, he ain't going to be this, he ain't going to be, I was like, oh, the devil is a lie. Go ahead and believe it if you want to. Believe it if you want to. I'm a work in progress. I'm going to get there. You can't stop the train. You can't. One of the things that if they didn't say, the only positive thing I probably remember that they said was that he goes through the walls. I go through the wall. I'm going to break down the wall. Win, lose, draw, is going. I don't stop. What do you mean? I need for you to understand, for who you are and whose you are, you ain't built to stop. Just because somebody said something about you, they told you you wasn't going to be something, they told you you was ugly, they told you you was fat, they told you you was ignorant, they told you you wasn't this, wasn't going to be that, wasn't going to be nothing. You go ahead and give them something to talk about. They just say, he ain't nothing but a security guard, he ain't never going to be nothing but a security guard. I have had people work for me, I've got certain things going on that people don't know about. You understand? Like, you can't let people put you in a box. You have to know who you are, and you have to know what? Whose you are. And if you got an issue, you got a problem, I've had those issues, and I've had those problems, and I've beat the problem. Me and God have what? Beat the problem. And I need you to get that in your mind. Because when you give somebody something to talk about, and they say, oh, he was a whoremonger, oh, he was a liar, he was this, he was that, and the other. Yes, I was. But I ain't now. You want to know my testimony? Because I give it all the time. I give it every Sunday. I'm delivered. I am delivered. I had to do it. But you understand what I'm saying? You can't take that away from me. That's not my cross. That's not. I'm delivered from that. That is my blessing. You're like, how is that your blessing? Because I get to tell every single person that God did that. Yeah, you saw me do this, but God did that. God brought me from here. He got me from there. He got me from there. He got me from there. You're like, well, dang. Yeah, you thought that was to defeat me. That was to hurt me, but that was just to overcome. That was just so that I can tell somebody else that you can do it. And it will not kill you, but you are more than a conqueror. See, you thought that it was going to hurt me and it was going to destroy me, but God said it's going to work out for my good. You thought that was going to bring me down, but no, that's just a stepping stone for me. I walk over, I get through, I move beyond such things. It don't matter. You can be 75, still being delivered. You can be 95, still being delivered. Don't stop life just because you got older. You just keep being what? Delivered. Because one of the greatest things I've ever done is been delivered. When I look at my life and I look at the children I have and where I've been and all the things that I've done, one of the greatest things that I'm most excited about is that me and God beat some things that people die with. That people say you cannot get over. They call it a life-dominating sin. They call it a curse on your life. I am free. I am free. Like totally free. I respect it. I keep it over there, but you can't deny my freedom from it. Because I didn't do it for a person. I didn't do it for myself. I did it for God. And he said, when you do it for me, it's a whole different story. Because I'll keep it at bay. You will stand on it, stand over it, and you are delivered from it. You can't, I remember the nights of rolling back and forth. I remember the times of sweating. I remember the time of being frustrated, times of crying. You can't take that from me. I am a victor. You gotta be a victor. It's not a game. This is your life. I'll move on. Number three. Number three. Your social media will explain your interests. Your social media will explain your interests. Now that's pretty clear. It makes sense. But when you look at your interests, not the things they send you, but the things that you follow and all that, does it match up with where you're going? Does it match up with what you're working on? And are you working on something? Because if I'm going to give social media, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or this, that, or the other, if I'm going to give it my time, it's got to have amount of time. Now, there's some things you're like, oh, I just like to laugh at certain things. It shouldn't be everything. If you're working on your finances, there should be somebody somewhere scrolling down telling you how to get your life together, how to work on getting rid of your bad credit score, how to get the house, how to get the car, how to do this, that, and the other, how to go ahead and put this in somebody else's name, put that in the trust, put the trust in some. There ought to be something that if you're working on making or putting yourself, saving $100,000, saving $10,000, there ought to be a place, a position, a set moment, a place where at least down the third one that coming down, the fourth one coming down, that says this is what you do. Are you just on there looking at other people's lives? You ain't got nothing to do for 4 hours, just every day, just looking at scrolling. There goes a meme about it. There's a joke about it. Now, I'm going to explain something to you. I am one that when I get a moment, I will send out probably about 10 memes. I ain't going to front, I do it. But if you were to literally go on, and if I showed it to you, you'd be like, well, there's church, there's finances, there's church, there's finances, this preacher, language, more language, pastor that speaks in different languages, and it goes on and goes on and goes on. And it's beneficial to where I'm going, or authors that have sold tons and tons of books. I do what I do so that you could understand, or no, I do honestly when I'm on social media, so that I can, one, laugh, I can, two, promote God, and three, live my best life. And the only way to live my best life is put myself around things that are taking me where I want to go. So don't waste your time with 17 hours or 18 hours a week on social media when it explains that all you do is laugh at memes, or all you do is check on other people's life that are actually living, and you're not living yourself. If you work with music, you be music people. If you want to build a house from scratch, you ought to be some people building a house from scratch. If you're an artist, you ought to have other artists that you look up to. What you do ought to show up in what you look at. And those are the keys to life.